Buddy, welcome. Please come in and relax. I hope you have your milk and cookies. I don't have my milk and cookies with me right now because I have things baking in the oven. Now you know what Mama Carla does in the evening. I like to bake sometimes. It's a comforting thing for me. Most people will probably watch the replay of this, and I do hope that I get some people to come in and enjoy this live with me. But those who can't, I understand. I wasn't sure what kind of story I was going to tell you guys tonight. As you know, this has been a crazy time. Last night I really felt bad. Physically, emotionally, spiritually, I was sick. Last night I had to sleep. Tonight I still feel a little shaky. I'm not going to lie to you, but I'm glad to be able to come and to talk to you. I decided that I was going to tell you some little known history facts. A lot of people know Harriet Tubman as a conductor on the Underground Railroad. Some people, that's all they know about her. They know about her enslavement down in Colchester County, Maryland. They know things about how her husband, John Tubman, threw her off for a younger woman, and he wound up dead afterwards, getting into an argument with someone. Some people even know about her military service. A lot of people don't know about her life after the end of slavery. That story to me is an even more interesting and loving story. You see, Harriet Tubman started to live in New York. She came from Canada and lived in New York. And in New York, she bought a piece of land. And that piece of land, she actually welcomed people who were formerly enslaved, who were looking for a place to stay. The first thing she did, though, was she went down to the South and she made a tour through the South, talking to people and doing lectures and raising money. But she also brought back with her many old, sick, and infirmed, formerly enslaved people. She brought them back to her little house and she took care of them. Some of them she took care of until they died. Some she took care of them until they started to become stronger and better and move on. She let her house be a place, her farm, her estate, because it was a little farm. It had a barn and everything else, and she just welcomed people and had them come and stay with her, and they helped to work on the farm and take care of everybody else. And when they were ready to move on, they would move on with her blessings and her love. A lot of people don't know that when she was 59 years old, a 39-year-old former soldier who had been among one of the young men that she liberated from Confederate camps, asked her to marry him. His name was Nelson Davies. Now, the love between Harriet and Nelson is the kind of love that every woman would want to have. It was one of those kinds of loves that she was this great and mighty person. She didn't have to be extraordinarily beautiful. He knew what kind of soul she had. And that's what he loved about her. He knew he didn't have very long to live. He had contracted tuberculosis in the concentration camps that they had in the South. So he figured he didn't have long to live. And because he had been a soldier, he got a military pension. He wanted Harriet to have it. The way to do that was for them to be married. But their love went further than that. He helped her with her mission. to feed people and take care of people. But they also adopted a little girl who had lost her parents to the war and enslavement. And they loved her and raised her. So Harriet got a chance to be a mother and take care of a child. She actually outlived Nelson. She outlived him by, I think, about 6 or 7 years. And they were married for 25. So Harriet Tubman did get the opportunity to experience love and experience joy, the joy of being married to someone. A lot of people don't know that part of her history. You see, a whole person has more than just highs and lows. Everything goes up and down because that is how life is. I think a lot of times we make historical figures seem larger than life because we want that. We want to know that there was this little woman who was a hero, who suffered all her life and died without love and without all that, because it makes her story more tragic, more dramatic. And she did have a very triumphant story, but she also had a very sad story too. I mean, afterwards, after the war, she also experienced being robbed of money that was collected for her. And she was mistreated and she had people do her wrong. Sure she did. But Harriet Tubman also had a mission. And that's how we survive things. That's how we survive bad things that happen to us, is by having a mission. Harriet Tubman's mission was to take care of her people. Simple. Anyone who needed love and care and to be taken care of, that's what Harriet felt was the reason why God let her stay on earth. Now understand, Harriet Tubman, when she wasn't taking care of her husband Nelson, she herself had sleeping spells, which basically meant that she had seizures all through the rest of her life. But yet she lived to be almost 100 years old. She was a strong woman, strong in ways that we can look on today. A lot of our children have never had to go through the struggles that we went through as children even. And some of our children are going through struggles now. It's the first time in their lives, and the first time in our lives that we've lived through a pandemic. But our parents lived through one. In 1918, our grandparents definitely lived through one. Many of our parents were born at the end of that pandemic. My grandmother was 102. She died the year of she was born the year of the pandemic, and she died right before this one. So, I mean, I look at that and I just think about what things fortified them. The things that fortified them were family. They loved on each other. When people died, people mourned together. Now, we can't mourn together the way the other folks mourn together. They mourned together and wound up making each other sick and dying. And more people died because of it. Hi, Sissy. But we can get together and love upon each other. We have Facebook. We have Duo. We have Zoom. We have ways to love upon each other. No, we can't put our hands on each other. And since we're tactile people, that's what we want to do. But we can't put hands on each other right now. But we can love upon each other. We can love upon each other by checking in with each other. If you had issues with somebody, go to that person and make those things better. Soon we are going to need each other to rebuild. Oh, and don't believe the hype. Everybody who's out there protesting isn't out there looting. And the people out there looting don't give a darn about Black Lives Matter. The people that are out there doing that are people who are angry and they just want to destroy. They're not thinking about the future. Some of them don't even feel that there will be a future. So they're just doing whatever. But God put future in our hearts. So we have to use that future that God put in our hearts. That's why we're always planning. You know, there are people who plan things right up until the day that they died. I think a really good example is someone said that Alexander Hamilton, before he went out that day in Winghausen and was up there fighting and went for that duel, he actually had a meeting on the books. He was supposed to go meet somebody. He never thought that he was going to be killed. He never thought that he was going to die. We have to prepare ourselves, not prepare to die, but prepare to live. And if not for ourselves, for our progeny, our children, our children's children. We should do that. We do that by the way we live our lives, by the way we treat each other, by the way we love up on each other. I use Harriet Tubman and her husband Nelson Davies to tell you that love can't just be based on physical attraction. Real love is based on what happens in the heart. And when you lead with your heart, you can do anything. Everybody thinks that hate is so strong, but hate has nothing on love. If you've ever seen an incident where a child got ran over by a car and that mother came out there and picked that car up off her child, it'll tell you that love is stronger. Have you ever seen somebody right before they died and they held out until they could say goodbye to the people that they love? They were supposed to be dead hours, days ago, but they held out so that they could tell somebody goodbye, so they could love up on them. Well, guess what? That's love. That's real love. Real love can overcome so many things. So for your milk and cookies tonight, I tell you to think on love, on the real definition of love. Forget what people are doing out in the streets right now. Forget stresses that you have and just let go of all that. Just think about what and who you love. Even if the only person that you love is yourself. Loving yourself means you're going to safeguard what you love. So safeguard yourself. Those are your milk and cookies for tonight, loved ones. Tomorrow I'll be back with other stories. But I just wanted you to know that little historical fact. And I want to tell you all that I love you very much. And I hope that you are well. Be well, be safe, and I'll see you tomorrow evening. Good night. Oh, wait a minute. I also have to talk about jewelry. You know I have to talk about jewelry. Okay. You like my earrings? Yes. Love my little heart earrings. Oh, and this is my new acquisition. This beautiful moonstone ring. Isn't that beautiful? Yep. Because we all need a little bling in our lives. So if you're ready to reward yourself, make sure that you hit a sister up. Hello, Sandy Boo. Hit a sister up and I'll make sure that you can get a hold of some beautiful jewelry. I am going to have a live sale coming up in the next 2 weeks. It's going to be a lot of fun. But until then, milk and cookies with me at night. I love you all very much. And I know that some of you miss tea and stories. We'll have tea and stories again. But let's have milk and cookies for this week. Okay? I love you all much. Mwah. Take good care. Night.